Hello world, it is Foundation Fest Day 3, and today we are going to check out the LA Girl Pro Coverage Illuminating Foundation. Hey everybody, Shelly here, and today we've got Foundation Fest Day 3. And we're going to check out another foundation that the interwebs are all chitter-chattering about, and that is the LA Girl Pro Coverage Illuminating Foundation. Now, this goes for a whopping $10. Cha-ching! Lovely price point. Comes in a nice plastic bottle. It's attractive. It'll look nice on my little foundation rack. It does have a pump that I have already made a disastrous mess of, but I love pumps. It makes things nice and hygienic. That's the word I'm looking for. The bottle is 0.95 fluid ounces, so that is approximately an ounce, about the same as what a typical foundation bottle would have. Let's check out some of the claims on the LA Girl website. Now, this comes in 15 shades plus white. So there's a white mixer, so essentially you can have infinite numbers of shades. It looks like they go quite dark in the line. They go pretty light. This is the shade Porcelain, and there are 2 shades at the very low end, and I probably could mix this to be just a teeny tiny bit lighter for me, but it's okay. It's okay so far. The claims that this foundation makes, it's a high definition, long wear, illuminating liquid foundation. It's ideal for flawless looking, full coverage finish, lightweight formula, comfortable for all day wear, paraben free, has added antioxidants to help hydrate and improve skin's appearance. Now available in an extended color range, white foundation mixer, blah, blah, blah. So, it sounds to me like we're going for full coverage. It sounds to me like we're going flawless. They do use the word illuminating in the title, so I'm thinking something more dewy and suitable for dry skin. So let's apply. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to give you some swatches, and we'll compare this to some of the other foundations that I've got. I will do a full application. You can see how it goes on. We'll do a wear test. I will give you natural lighting, and I'll check back at the end of the night. That's how we're going to do it on Foundation Fest. And let's look at some swatches. Here are some swatches against other long wear foundations I've got. So here is today's LA Girl Pro Coverage. This is the Smashbox Studio Skin in shade 1.0. This third is the Rimmel Lasting Finish in shade 091. And that is their light ivory shade. Then we've got the Revlon Color Stay Makeup in Ivory 110. This is the new Loreal Infallible Total Cover, and that is in their lightest shade 301. And then just for fun, I put in the Kat Von D Lock-It in Light 44 Cool, and the Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation in shade 1.5. So there you have it. I am ready to kick this off. Let's put this on my face. I would be having a wonderful day if my mascara would stop flaking all over my face. Tarte Lights Camera Action. No, Lights Camera Lashes? Whatever it's called. No, not so good. Okay, let's go. Foundation time. It sounds like my cat is making herself a burrito in my shower curtain. Here we go, LA Girl. So I have already cleansed and moisturized. I have primed with the new Urban Decay Urban Defense SPF 30 primer. And let's rock day 3. We've got this stuff. I've got my cute little palette from Amazon, and this is supposed to be full coverage. I usually go for 2 pumps when it's in a pump. I'm going to let's try 2. Woo! I am going to do a brush on one side of my face, a sponge on the other, see if there's a difference, see if I have a preference. Let's start with the brush. I'm going to use the Kat Von D Lock-It Edge number 10 foundation brush. I love this brush. This finish is really nice and smooth looking. I would say we are probably low medium coverage on the first pass here. Let me do the sponge side. I'm still on that first 2 pumps. I would say this looks about the same with the brush or the sponge, so personal preference. I think it looks about the same coverage, about the same finish. I think the sponge is faster for me to use than the brush, so this is a really nice finish, and I think it's even doing a little bit to minimize my pores. Maybe. Let's try a second coat. I just want to see if this will build up just a little bit more. Sorry, I hit the mirror just now. Let's do like another pump and a half. I'm going to do the sponge just because I think it's faster. Second layer applied fine. I think the coverage does build up quite nicely. 2 coats, I would say I am at a solid medium or high medium even coverage. I can barely see the darkest of my dark spots on this cheek. The second coat doesn't dry down as quickly, so be careful to smooth out any impressions that you've made with your application device, whatever it may be, because it is easy to get this to slide around when you don't want it to on this second coat. So I think do you see how I'm even making impressions now? I think I am going to set this with a powder to make sure that it stays in place where I want it to stay. But yeah, so far I like the finish. It is not settling into lines. It doesn't even look really heavy around my nostrils, so you can tell I have some dry skin there, but it's not caking up the way most foundations do around that area. A little bit settling into my smile lines, but I think once I set that, it'll be good. Let me zoom you guys in, show you where we're at. Shade-wise, I think it's just a teeny tiny bit off for me. The shade level, I think, is fine. I don't think it's too dark. I think it's a teeny bit too yellow because I can kind of see, I pulled it down my neck a bit and my yellow is fading. The yellow foundation kind of fades into my more pink skin. Maybe it's a teeny tiny bit too dark. I think I could get away with it being a little too dark, but the yellow, it's a little bit yellow for me. I'm a very pink undertone type of person, and I flush easily, so like if my neck or my chest flushes pink, it really makes, if the foundation's too yellow, you can really tell it's too yellow. But this isn't too yellow. I think I can get away with this, but let's go put the rest of my makeup on. I'll be right back. And we're back. Like I said, so far so good. Everything went on fine, blended out okay. The only issue I'm having right now with this foundation is that it doesn't seem to have wanted to play nice with my concealer. My concealer initially blended in fine. I set it with the RCMA No Color powder, which is the least likely powder of everything I own to cake up or get sort of creasy under my eyes, and it pretty much immediately started to sort of look cakey in my under eye, and that's a little bit of a bummer. Now that could just be it didn't like the concealer. I was using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I was going radiant because this foundation says it's luminous, but honestly I wouldn't call this dewy at all. Luminous maybe in the sense that it looks naturally healthy, but it's really not dewy. Even before I said it, it didn't come across to me as dewy. I think the coverage is okay. It's good. I think the coverage is good. I think overall it's a nice finish. It does seem to minimize pores just a little bit. I am having trouble with it continuing to settle into my smile lines and my more prominent forehead lines. I got 3 of them up here, you know, that are all like, look at me. So it is settling into those. I have dabbed it out several times. It does continue to settle, so we will see if that gets worse throughout the day. On my face today, I dug out, haven't used this one in a while, the Kat Von D Innerstellar palette. If you don't have this one and you like purples, it was my first high-end eyeshadow palette that I ever bought, and I love it. And I'm wearing the Tarte blush in Exposed, the Physicians Formula Shimmer Brick Natural Nude. Love this thing. On my lips, this came out of one of my boxes. It's a Bella Pierre Cosmetics Kiss Proof Lip Cream in the shade, I can't find it, in the shade Antique Pink. Whoa. Old age is killing me. These eyeballs. I like the color of this. It's still really sticky. Even though it's completely dried down, it still kind of sticks if I at all press my lips together, so that's kind of a bummer. We'll see how that goes throughout the day. But yeah, I'll check back in a little while with a natural light check-in. It is totally gloomy and rainy out, so this may have to happen underneath an umbrella, which is not really much natural light, but I'll be back in a little bit and I'll let you know how we're doing. Hello, stopping by CVS to see if there are any good finds in the makeup aisle. All my drugstores have been really slow on the uptake for stocking some of this newer stuff, so I'm not very hopeful, but here is the foundation. It is about 5 o'clock, so we're about 6 hours in. It is definitely more dewy than it was when I put it on. It does look a little too dark for me, but otherwise, so far so good. I have not taken a close look yet, so I will see you guys in a little bit with an evening check-in. We are back. The clock is about to strike. What time is it? It's almost 9 p.m. and that would put this at the 10-hour mark. I try to get at least 10 hours in whenever a foundation claims to be a long-wearing foundation, because to me, an 8-hour day would be a normal day. So long-wearing to me is 10, 12, 14 hours. I think 14 would be a perfect long-wear test. But to tell you the honest truth, I can't stand to have this on my face any longer than I've already got it on here. So let me tell you some stories. First off, with that lip, I don't have it with me. I had stuck it in my purse. It wore wonderfully in terms of long wear. I was able to wear it through a meal, a pretty greasy meal, and I didn't have to touch up. On the downside, it was so freaking sticky. It never dried down. I am never wearing it again. I can't even get it off my mouth. That is how bad it is. So right now I've got the remnants after I tried to remove it with lip color remover and added some lip gloss on here. So anyway, that is neither here nor there. That is not the foundation. What we're here for is the foundation. So let's talk about this foundation. Now, let me tell you a story. So this foundation, when I first put it on, I kind of liked that it seemed to blur my pores a bit. It had a nice finish. It wasn't too dewy, because I'm not a huge fan of dewy, even though it does say it's a illuminating foundation. I'd say at this point it is definitely a dewy finish. I don't look greasy or anything. I think that's fine. I think it makes a claim there, and I think it lives up to that claim. But it took a while to feel like it was even starting to dry down. It felt tacky. It never dried down. It was tacky all day. It was tacky to the point that this afternoon, after it had been on for approximately 5 hours, I had touched my nose at one point and I thought, oh crap, that really felt like I just took a swipe out of my foundation. And I looked at my finger and sure enough, it did. And I've been having trouble all day with the feeling that I've got like fuzzies on my nose, like my nose is itchy. And that could just be allergies, the weather, etc. But I'm pretty sure it's not, and here's why. I got home from work, I was watching TV, the cat jumped on my lap, I felt like I had a cat hair on my face. I did. Fuzzies and cat hairs, and see, here's another. Anything floating around in the air is sticking to my face. Tiny little hairs and fuzzies are sticking because it is still tacky. It is 10 hours later, and I set it twice with the Loreal Double Take Baked powder, and it's still tacky. Like, you can see the fingerprint where I just touched my nose. So you really can't touch your face at all. You cannot be in a dusty environment, or you're going to have dust sticking. Every little flake of mascara that has fallen off my face is literally stuck in tiny, tiny little spots. Specks that I think normally would have just brushed off, they're stuck underneath my eye because this foundation never dried down. And the feeling I've been having, these phantom fuzzies all over my nose, I think I have fuzzies all over my nose. Like, I think there's microscopic fuzzies itching my nose. So that is a huge downside. In terms of it being a lightweight foundation, it claims to feel, I can't even take it. I just want to scratch my nose off. I can't wait till this is over. Breathe. So in terms of it feeling lightweight, I would say it feels like any other foundation. The fact that it remained tacky all day was distracting. If it weren't for the tackiness, I think it would feel pretty lightweight. Not super lightweight. I still feel like I'm wearing makeup, so it's not that lightweight. In terms of how it has worn throughout the day, it's breaking down in the center of my face. When I stretch my eyebrows up, you can see all the lines where the foundation is no longer covering, where it's kind of cracking. It's doing the same thing around my chin and around the bottom of my mouth. It did settle into lines. If I show you I call them my fat lines, my chin lines. Under my chin is where a foundation that gathers into lines like this, that sinks into lines, will gather in this spot throughout the day. And I've got the nice orange slick, there it is, of foundation gathered into there. It's even settling into my crow's feet lines, and these, you guys have seen it now. I have reviewed foundations that keep this part of my eye smooth by the end of the day and don't have settling. This did not dry my skin out, I will give it that. My skin is not dry. My crow's feet do not look dry, but because the foundation has settled into those lines, you can tell that I've got some crow's feet going on here. It's looking really heavy at this point in the day. I would say for the first 3 or 4 hours, I really thought it looked okay. But it is now looking heavy. It's breaking up. See, this spot on my cheek is breaking up. It did not cling too badly to the dry patches around my nostrils. Clung a tiny bit. Most foundations do. Most cling worse than this. The color is definitely off on me. It is too yellow and it's too dark. That became more apparent throughout the day. Now, these bright lights kind of wash me out a bit, so if you compare my chest to what my face looks like in the bright light, it's not so bad, but I think you'll be able to tell in the daylight video footage that it is a little bit too dark. You can almost see where I brought it down my chin. It's a little obvious. It might have oxidized a little bit and made it a little more obvious throughout the day. I don't think it oxidized too badly, but the shade is definitely too yellow and too dark. And this being at the light end of their spectrum, this is their Porcelain shade. It's the one that looked warmer. Cooler, excuse me. I don't think it's cool toned at all. I think it does lean neutral to warm, neutral to yellow. It is not a pink undertone at all. So that is a bummer. I might be able to salvage it in terms of lightening it with something else and mixing it, but I would say for the way it felt all day, don't like it at all. For the fact that it claims to be a long wear and I'm at the 10-hour mark and it's already looking kind of crappy around the areas that typically break up, I don't think the long wear claim is very good. The weirdness of it being so tacky and collecting dust, I think, is just bizarre. So if I had to give this a grade, I would say, I'm going to keep it in the C range because I think it would be nice if I could get a better color match. It would be nice if you only need to wear it for a couple of hours. If you need to wear it for 3 hours, 4 hours, I think it would be a nice going out foundation. I don't think I could stand to wear this much more, and that's why I'm not going to bring it into anything above average, into the B range, because this tacky issue, like, it's just weird and distracting, and it feels funny, and it rubs off way too easily for a long wear because it just doesn't dry down ever. And I don't think there's no oil in my skin that's making that happen. I don't have oily skin. I have very, very dry skin. So on that front, with the dry skin, it's definitely a thumbs up. I do not feel like this is drying at all. I feel like it might even be slightly moisturizing. My under eyes look a bit cakey, but that was happening right away. So I think that may be an issue with how it... There just aren't enough things positive that I can say about this that would bring it any higher. And I'm going to say, for the tackiness alone, I'm going to call it a C-, because this is just a really distracting thing to have to deal with throughout the day. And if you had to wear sunglasses or anything like that, I really can't imagine that this would wear very well, because I touched the side of my nose once and it's really worn off just from that. Yeah, and now I just want to scratch my whole face off, and that's never a good sign. When I want to scratch my face off at the end of the day, the foundation is not doing its job. But for a couple of hours, it does look nice, and it never settled into my pores. I will say, if your only issue you're dealing with, you don't have fine lines, but you've got enlarged pores, it did smooth them out a bit, especially initially. Now it's getting a little bit heavy, but initially it did smooth them out. They did look nice. So this is a good wear it for a few hours foundation. I think it might be a little too heavy dewy for someone with oily skin, and I think if you have any more mature skin than I do, it's probably a no-go, because it definitely settles into lines. So the LA Girl Pro coverage, I am going to give it a C- in this round of Foundation Fest. I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please give me a thumbs up. It gives me a sort of indication of what I'm doing right and what I should keep on doing. So if you'd like to see more foundation reviews, give me a thumbs up below. Please subscribe if you have not already. It helps my channel to grow, and I appreciate every single one of you and all of your kind comments, and I appreciate your time for tuning in. So thanks a lot for spending some time geeking out over makeup with me. Have yourselves a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in the next Foundation Fest video tomorrow. I love you, day 4, and that will be another new foundation. So check it out tomorrow, subscribe, hit the bell, get some notifications, and I will catch you on the flip side. Take care of each other, everybody. Bye-bye.